So in yesterday's class, we had started antihelminthics. I told you about albendazole and mebendazole. What can you tell me about mebendazole? What is mebendazole? What is the mechanism of action of mebendazole?
So first
Sir,
it binds to
Hmm. Go on, go on. Binds to.
beta tubulin.
Okay, it will bind to beta tubulin. Beta tubulin being a microtubular protein, I think it has very high affinity with beta tubulin. Along with that, what does it do?
inhibit glucose in the parasite.
Inhibit glucose
Glu-
what in parasite?
Glucose uptake.
Okay, and it'll do another thing, right? It'll not just inhibit the uptake of glucose in the parasite, it will do something else to the glucose in the parasite.
Depletion of
Sir,
glucose.
Depletes glucose stores. Okay, inside the parasite. So that is the main mechanism of action. Okay, what are the adverse effects of mebendazole?
Nausea, abdominal pain,
Diarrhea.
Mm. Especially in case of heavy infestation, the patient will have diarrhea. Acha, this parasite is staying inside your stomach. What will happen to your abdomen? Something will happen now. Large doses can cause allergies, right? There will be abdominal pain. Okay. And in case of large doses, other than allergy, the patient will also have headache, dizziness, hair loss, and granular cytopenia. Can you give this drug in pregnancy?
No,
Yes,
sir.
hair loss.
no sir,
Is it safe in pregnancy?
No, sir.
Yes, no. मतलब दे सकती है pregnancy में.
No,
Can't hear
sir.
you.
no sir.
no,
Okay.
sir.
One second. Let me just check my this thing. One second, guys. Yeah. So it should be avoided in pregnancy. All right. Um. Then what about albendazole? Why is it better than mebendazole?
Sir,
Well tolerated.
It is better tolerated. Are another thing. When you are giving mebendazole, do you give it as is? Whenever you administer the drug, let us suppose you are giving a tablet of mebendazole, ऐसे ही देते ये किसी के साथ देते
With fatty acids, sir.
Fatty acid.
fatty acid
fatty food.
Fatty
oh.
foods.
हाँ okay with fatty food something like ghee or butter खाना मुश्किल रहता है थोड़ा घी के साथ दे देते anyway albendazole it is better tolerated, that is one advantage. Okay, tolerance is better. What else is better?
Sir, it is effective in single dose.
Hmm. So if you are telling this is effective in single dose, how long does it take for mebendazole to function?
Sir, it takes 2 to 3 days.
Hmm. So multiple doses देना पड़ता mebendazole की. All right. Anything else?
Well absorbed in gut.
This gets rapidly absorbed in gut, even though it is well absorption नहीं बोल सकते, rapid absorption है. There is a big difference between them. ठीक है. Let us suppose I have a drug. Let us suppose ये drug है. ठीक है. This is 100% of the drug. Imagine. ठीक है. Let us suppose अगर मैं rapidly absorb हो रहा बोल रहा हूँ ये, even if it is 30% of the drug that gets absorbed, this is getting absorbed within, let's suppose, 1 hour. Versus I can have another drug. Let us suppose same drug अगर मैं well absorbed बोला तो 80% of the drug is getting absorbed, but it is taking maybe more time. It is taking 2 hours or 3 hours. ठीक है. यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है, 30% 1 hour में हो जा रहा है, उसके बाद उतना absorption नहीं है ड्रग का. ठीक है. मे बी 1 or 2% it is getting absorbed more, but not a lot. ठीक है. यहाँ पर that is a big difference between rapid absorption and well absorption. Well absorption का मतलब a lot of drug is getting absorbed inside. Bioavailability is good. Rapid absorption does not equal good bioavailability. ठीक है. Rapid absorption just means that whatever drug is going into your gut is getting absorbed very fast. That's it. Okay, it does not mean high concentration of the drug is coming into the body. Well, so there is that. It gets rapidly absorbed. Any other advantage? It's one big advantage, no, with respect to the metabolite of albendazole. So the active
So
metabolite,
active.
yeah, go on.
So it achieves 100 times more concentration than mebendazole.
Then mebendazole. Okay, concentration in what?
Active metabolite.
Nahi baba. That active metabolite is achieving 100 times better concentration than mebendazole's active metabolite in which serum or which fluid? या किधर? अच्छा, it achieves 100 times better concentration in blood. ठीक है. Active metabolite of albendazole achieves 100 times better concentration in blood when compared to mebendazole. All right. ADRs of albendazole? Same ADRs है, अलग है?
Similar है.
Same.
Similar है. What about high dose? You are very high dose. वो भी same है क्या? What happens if you give a very high dose of albendazole?
Same.
Same, huh? Okay, alopecia will occur. That is the same. Something will be different with albendazole, specifically.
Fever, sir.
Or something related to liver.
Jaundice.
Right.
Yeah, it can cause jaundice. Along with jaundice, it can also cause weakness. Sorry. High doses of albendazole can cause jaundice, weakness, fever, alopecia, and granular cytopenia. Pregnancy, safe or not safe? Albendazole, दे सकते हैं नहीं दे सकते? Not safe. Okay. All right. Now coming to the next drug, talk about pyrantel palmoate. Acha, one thing before I start pyrantel palmoate and the following drugs that will come. Are you guys familiar with adrenergic and cholinergic receptors? Last year आप लोगों को जब अच्छा, have you all been taught about parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system?
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, तो you know what is acetylcholine and the functions of acetylcholine. देखो, अगर if you're telling you have studied about sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, then parasympathetic nervous system का एक बड़ा neurotransmitter or one of the main transmitter will be ACH. ठीक है, acetylcholine. Acetylcholine will act through two different receptors. You have nicotinic receptors. ठीक है, depending on different locations, it will have different functions, and you have muscarinic receptors. ठीक है. निकोटिनिक रिसेप्टर्स कैन बी NN और NM, इसको N1 and N2 भी बोलते हैं. Muscarinic receptors are of 5 types: M1 to M5, M1, M2, M3, M4, M5. ठीक है. More important ones will be M1 to M3, M4, M5 उतना नहीं. ठीक है. तो even if you did not study about this nicotinic and muscarinic receptors, you will have it later. You have cholinergic drugs. In that I'll explain in a little more detail. But at least आप लोग acetylcholine के बारे में सुने तो होंगे या functions of acetylcholine पढ़े होंगे शायद ना. What will happen when it goes and attaches to neuromuscular junction? What will happen when it attaches to ganglion? How impulses are passed through sympathetic nervous system. अच्छा. So एक काम करेंगे, we'll not discuss that in detail for now because that itself will take 1 or 2 classes for me to explain. I would suggest that एक बार आप लोग after this class read about parasympathetic nervous system and functions of acetylcholine. ठीक है. We'll continue with parental palmoid. I'll give you a brief rundown of how mechanism of action works. It will be based on cholinergic system. ठीक है. Now this fellow parental palmoid specifically stimulates nicotinic cholinergic receptor. There is a special type of cholinergic receptor, one type of cholinergic receptor which is nicotinic cholinergic receptor. कि इसको निकोटिनिक इसलिए बोलते हैं क्योंकि people who smoke cigarettes, वो सिगरेट में essentially जो केमिकल रहता ना, ये रिसेप्टर को जाके स्टिमुलेट करता. So that is why this receptor is named nicotinic. ठीक है. Anyway, nicotine which is present inside the cigarette will go and stimulate this receptor. That is why this is called nicotinic receptor. Anyway, now this fellow stimulates nicotinic receptor. Nicotinic cholinergic receptor है ये. Okay, I'm not writing cholinergic. It means that acetylcholine का nicotinic receptor है ये. ठीक है. You will also have adrenergic receptors. So adrenaline के अलग receptors रहते, serotonin के अलग receptors रहते, dopamine के अलग receptors रहते. So adrenaline के adrenergic receptors रहते, alpha beta दो अलग type of receptors रहते, और dopamine के dopaminergic receptors रहते, serotonin के serotonergic receptors रहते, GABA के GABAminergic receptors रहते. Every neurotransmitter will have its own type of receptor to which it will go and attach. So last year आप लोग whenever you were reading about neurotransmitter, whoever taught you, they must have told that एक neurotransmitter is like a key which will go and attach to a specific lock. ठीक है. Enzymes कैसा काम करते हैं वैसा ही है ये neurotransmitters. These neurotransmitters can only attach and bind to special types of receptors which are specific to them. So for example, acetylcholine receptor will not go and bind to adrenaline receptor. ठीक है. Acetylcholine the neurotransmitter will not go and attach to adrenaline receptor. ठीक है. It will only attach to receptors that will conform with acetylcholine. ठीक है. Specific key for specific lock वैसा रहता. Now in any case, whenever this nicotinic cholinergic receptor is stimulated, this is happening in the worm. Okay. Stimulates nicotinic receptor. Worms will also have nicotinic and adrenergic receptors. Humans will also have it, worms will also have it. ठीक है. Nicotinic receptor in the worm, and this stimulation will not be small, it will be a continuous stimulation. Whenever you have excessive amount of acetylcholine coming and stimulating one particular muscle, or it is stimulating one particular receptor, it will cause depolarization, persistent depolarization of that cell. This will lead to persistent depolarization. अच्छा, लास्ट ईयर आप लोग NMJs के बारे में पढ़े. इफ यू रिमेंबर NMJ, it will be easier for you to understand and follow what is happening. न्यूरोमस्कुलर जंक्शन, मसल मूवमेंट के बारे में पढ़े होंगे ना आप लोग. How tropomyosin will work, what is Z band, I band, H band. याद है या उड़ गया? Oh dear. Okay. So अच्छा ठीक है, we'll not go into the detail of that. रहने दो वो. So essentially just remember that whenever acetylcholine is going and attaching to a muscle or it is going and attaching to a cell, it will cause depolarization. The beginning of depolarization will trigger contraction. ठीक है, whenever a cell is getting depolarized, that cell will generally contract, especially in case of muscle. Smooth muscle रहने दो, skeletal muscle रहने दो, कौन सा भी muscle रहने दो, whenever it is getting depolarized, it will contract. यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा, you are specifically giving extra amount of stimulation to the worm's cholinergic receptor. The result is that there will be persistent depolarization, and because of it, that worm will undergo continuous contraction. Okay, it will not be able to relax at all. Now think of it this way. Imagine you are contracting one muscle. Imagine you are flexing your bicep. Example. Okay, you can do it right now while watching the class itself. Imagine you are flexing your bicep. You can actually flex your bicep and see, and hold that flexion for a long period of time. Just keep it contracted for a long period of time. That will start hurting. Okay, so in the worm, what will happen is, because of persistent depolarization, there will be continuous contraction, and this continuous contraction will ultimately lead to paralysis. Okay, because that organism is continuously in contraction. Now for movement or for normal healthy living, essentially you need to have contraction and relaxation of muscles. Both should be simultaneous. Okay, sorry, sequential, one after the other should follow. Okay, if there is only contraction without any relaxation, it will lead to paralysis. Okay, the muscle will become completely stiff and you will not be able to move the muscle. Okay, so यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा, because of continuous contraction, the worm will go into a special type of paralysis called spastic paralysis. ठीक है, have you all ever heard about muscle spasms, muscle cramps, muscle spasms? उसके बारे में तो कभी पढ़े होंगे या सुने होंगे. Ever came across a muscle spasm? No? Oh dear. So muscle spasm is essentially a condition in which this can be triggered because of injury or whatever. Let us suppose someone falls down on their back. Okay, they slip and fall down on their back. Okay, especially completely facing their back in a very odd angle. Now what will happen is, the muscles in their back, especially the spinal erectors, they will undergo spasm, and they'll become very very tight, and it will start to hurt. So much so that even if you touch that spinal erector muscles, the person will start jumping around. Okay, it will hurt quite a bit. Okay, they will not be able to comfortably sit, neither will be able to comfortably able to stand. That is because the muscle is in spasm. Now what you are doing to the worm is, you are essentially externally stimulating their cholinergic receptors in such a way that you are causing spasm in that worm. ठीक है, आप एक ड्रग ऐसा दे रहे हैं ताकि that drug is going and causing continuous spasm inside the worm, and because of that continuous spasm, the worm is getting paralyzed. It is not able to relax at all. It is continuously in the state of contraction, and because of that, it will get paralyzed. See, for movement, you need both contraction and relaxation. Certain muscles will contract, certain muscles will relax. That is when you have, for example, if you are trying to flex a muscle, your flexors are contracting and your extensors are relaxing. ठीक है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ यू आर ट्राइंग टू फ्लेक्स योर बाइसेप, सो यहाँ पर आपका बाइसेप कंट्रैक्ट हो रहा, बट आपका ट्राइसेप रिलैक्स हो रहा. वन शुड रिलैक्स फॉर द अदर टू कंट्रैक्ट. यहाँ पर what you are doing is, in the worm you are continuously creating a spasm. As such, you are continuously creating a contraction which is leading to paralysis of the worm, and ultimately what will happen is, this paralyzed worm is expelled out. Is expelled out of the body. That is the mechanism of action of pyrantel palmoid. So I'll repeat once again, listen very carefully. Whenever acetylcholine is attaching to a muscle or to its receptor, it will cause depolarization. It will cause contraction. Even in a human's body, whenever you have acetylcholine that is coming and attaching to your NMJ, neuromuscular junction, what will happen is, it will cause the contraction of that muscle. Okay? Whenever you want muscle to move, your brain will eventually send acetylcholine. It will send a message through acetylcholine, and that acetylcholine neurotransmitter will come and attach to the muscarinic receptor which is present on your muscle. Nicotinic receptors भी रहते हैं, muscarinic receptors भी रहते हैं. In humans, generally on the this thing, on the muscle itself, skeletal muscle especially, you will have what do you call muscarinic receptor. Anyway, whenever this acetylcholine is attaching to that muscle, it will cause contraction of the muscle. Now, what you are doing by this, by giving this pyrantel palmoate, is you are stimulating the nicotinic receptor which is present in the worm. Okay? And what happens is, because of this continuous stimulation of the drug itself, it will cause persistent depolarization in the worm. It is not affecting the human, it is only affecting the worm. Okay? So the receptor is slightly different in worm and in human. Even though the neurotransmitter is the same, receptor thoda alag rehta hai. You will tweak it in such a way that it will not affect humans cholinergic receptor, but it will only affect the worm's cholinergic receptor. Essentially, what will happen is, when this excessive amount of acetylcholine is going and attaching to the worm, it will cause persistent depolarization. As a result of continuous depolarization, the worm will be in a state of continuous contraction, which will lead to paralysis. Okay, the worm will essentially go into a spasm, and because of this continuous contraction, they will not that worm will not be able to move, leading to expulsion of the worm out of the body. That paralyzed worm cannot stay hooked on to your intestines, and ultimately what will happen is it will get passed out through your body. You can also give a purgative or a laxative with parental palmate so that it will easily come out. Okay, that is the mechanism of action of how this drug works. समझ में आया? Or do you want me to explain again? See, you need a lot of base knowledge for this. What is acetylcholine? What are cholinergic receptors? कैसा काम करते हैं? What is depolarization? How contraction occurs because of acetylcholine? What is spasm? How is spastic paralysis occurring? वो पूरा समझ में आया तो ये आपको मैकेनिज्म ऑफ एक्शन समझ में आता. अच्छा ठीक है, we'll do one thing. When we come across cholinergic system, I think after this unit of what do you call antibiotics and this thing is done, you still have a few topics left in this. After this is done, we'll start cholinergic system. ठीक है, और न्यूरोलॉजी पार्ट स्टार्ट करेंगे, उसमें आता cholinergic system. Then I'll explain in a little more detail what are muscarinic receptors, what are cholinergic receptors, how they work, what are adrenergic receptors as well. ठीक है. For now, if you want to understand this mechanism, I would strongly suggest that you read parasympathetic nervous system and you read the functions of acetylcholine. It will become easier for you to understand this mechanism of action then. All right. So whenever you are giving this drug, it is stimulating cholinergic system, right? Now let us suppose you give this drug along with piperazine. Piperazine is a drug that is anticholinergic. ठीक है, in certain situations आप anticholinergic drugs use करते. ठीक है, I'll not get into the details of why you use it, but in certain situations you will use it. The problem is that if you give piperazine along with pyrantel palmoate, piperazine will not let pyrantel palmoate function properly. This fellow will negate pyrantel palmoate. ठीक है, piperazine should never be given along with parental palmate because it will completely negate the effects of parental palmate. All right. Now you can use parental palmate for ascaris. You can use it for enterobius infection, ancylostoma infection में use कर सकते हैं आप. And PK is that it gets orally absorbed. About 10 to 15% of the drug gets absorbed. Poor absorption. Oral dose absorption. Okay. It gets partly metabolized and excreted in urine. So partly metabolized by kidney, partly metabolized by liver, and mostly excreted in urine. Main adverse effects that occur with this thing will be GI symptoms. Okay. The patient will have occasional abdominal pain. They can have a little bit of diarrhea. They will have dizziness with this. Diarrhea is not very common, but abdominal pain hota. The patient will have abdominal pain. The patient can have dizziness, headache, the patient might have rashes and weakness. Okay. So safety in pregnancy is not established in this drug. So be very careful when you're giving. It is better to avoid parental palm oil in pregnant women because category has not been classified properly. कौन से category में fall होता है ये pregnancy के? So safety itself has not been established. So better not to give the drug. All right. Now coming to the next drug, we have piperazine citrate. Now, piperazine citrate will work in the exact opposite manner of pyrantel palmate. Even though the effect is similar, the mechanism of action is opposite. Okay? In the previous scenario, pyrantel palmate was stimulating nicotinic cholinergic receptor, right? This fellow will block acetylcholine receptor. Okay? So, mechanism of action of this drug is that it will block action of acetylcholine. One second. Block action of ACH, and essentially what will happen is it will act as a GABA agonist. Okay, chlorine channels will open, and as such, what will happen is the cell, or essentially the worm, will undergo hyperpolarization. Instead of undergoing depolarization, it will undergo hyperpolarization. If any cell is undergoing hyperpolarization, there will be no contraction. It will be in a state of continuous relaxation. अब यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा? Instead of continuous contraction, you are creating continuous relaxation. This is the big difference between pyrantel palmate and this. In the previous case, you were creating continuous contraction which was causing spasm. Because spastic paralysis कर रहा था. Whenever you give piperazine citrate, that is why both of them are not given together. Piperazine citrate will block acetylcholine and it will lead to no contraction in worm. Okay. This is because of hyperpolarization. Okay. Whenever that worm is undergoing hyperpolarization, it will not be able to contract at all. As a result, what will happen is it will undergo flaccid paralysis. Okay. Essentially, it will become jelly-like. That there will be no stiffness to the worm altogether. Okay. In the previous case, you were contracting the worm to such an extent that it was not able to relax at all. In this method, by giving piperazine citrate, you are relaxing the worm in such a way that it is not able to contract at all. Either way, you are creating paralysis. For muscle movement, for any movement altogether, you, as I told you, you need contraction and relaxation both. In the previous case, you were continuously creating spasms by creating continuous contraction. In this, you are creating hyperpolarization, essentially leading to no contraction and flaccid paralysis. The same thing will happen here as well. Worm gets expelled. Paralyzed worm gets expelled. So that is the mechanism of action of piperazine citrate. Very, very similar. Small difference. One is facilitating acetylcholine, as in stimulating acetylcholine. The other is blocking acetylcholine, because of which in the previous case there is continuous contraction, in this there is no contraction, leading to flaccid paralysis. This meeting is about to end. I'll send you another link in the group. Join that.